Hello, thanks for joining me for your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 27th of September. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. Now I'm going to give you an overview of the major strands of this week before going on to give you your specific in-depth forecast. And of course the week begins with Mercury going into a retrograde in the sign of Libra. Well, of course, Libran energy is all about balance, and the sign is an air sign, so about communication. And of course, the winged messenger is all about talk and thought. So it's around our relationships that we're really going to have to work hard, not just to when the retrograde finishes, but from when Mercury emerges from shadow on the 3rd of November. In fact, it's been in shadow in this location since the 6th of October. So also this week, Mercury is squaring up with Pluto. Pluto is the planet of passion and of change and of truth. And it may be in our professional situation that it's those relationships that prove to be particularly difficult or tricky. So keeping the lines of communication open is crucial. But of course, Mercury is a planet in the sign of Libra, but it's not the only one. The Sun and Mars are in Libra too, and they're both forging a very constructive link to Saturn in the sign of Aquarius, another air sign, and the sign of friendship. So those ties or bonds or associations which are collaborative, cooperative and constructive can actually go from strength to strength. So don't see Mercury retrograde as being all bad, because also Mercury this week is forging a gorgeous alliance to the planet of fortune, Jupiter, and this is one of those really uplifting angles that can really give us a lot of support, and in this case to articulate our ideas and to see the good in situations. I think that's going to be really helpful. Now there is a quarter moon on Wednesday in the emotional sign of Cancer, and if there is somebody around us that is finding it a little bit more difficult to interact in the way that we want, then we may need to work at this a little harder from then. But also this week, Venus, the second half of the week, forges a very deep and passionate angle to Pluto. And I think this again is just going to remind us of the quality of certain associations, but also it can be very good from a financial viewpoint. So if you're working on something and it is requiring a lot of skill, a lot of nous, a lot of acumen, then any kind of relationship around the business world that is based on finances, where the lines of communication are open, can also prove fruitful. If you're new to me or my channel, I'd be honoured if you'd subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. Also, you can sign up for your free written daily horoscope to be fired to your device each morning. Please see the subscription link beneath this video. I write for many newspapers and websites around the world, including Britain's most read newspaper, The Metro. So it would be a pleasure for you to join me too. And finally, with year 2022 racing up, if you'd like to get your forecast for next year and you order it now, you can get the rest of 21 free, plus a character analysis and 30% off, all based on your unique birth data. So gain searing insights of the opportunities ahead, but also where to steer clear of challenges. Please see the link below. Hello Cancer, and welcome to your in-depth forecast for week commencing the 27th of September. This week's quarter moon is in your sign on Wednesday. A quarter moon is where the Sun and the Moon are at 90 degrees to one another. We have two a month. So this one is seeing the more emotional energies of your sign competing with the more logical energies of the Sun in the sign of Libra. So essentially, because Mercury, the Sun and Mars are all in Libra, your home, emotional and security environments are really at the centre of your situation just now. But the moon in your sign can make you a little bit more focused on your personal ambitions and desires, less on those emotional and security based issues. So there is a need to sort of be mindful that you don't actually end up doing something that's not in your own best interest. And of course, with Mercury in retrograde, anything to do with homes, properties, family communications could encounter some snags. But there's also an opportunity to think about those areas and how you might improve the way you think or communicate around them. So we can all keep learning with astrology. And it is true that Mercury's right angle with Pluto is a bit more testing. If there are any family politics, then I do feel that they could come to the fore this week. But if you're feeling quite content in your emotional world and where you live, the very constructive links between the Sun and Mars towards Saturn suggest that something could be shaping up around your financial world that can be very good for your future prospects when it comes to perhaps a property matter, savings, investments, a mortgage. All those areas can thrive because you'll be able to think in such a constructive way, because the Sun and Mars and also Saturn are all in air signs, which are so logical. And also Mercury is forging a fantastic link with Jupiter in your 8th house. So working from home may be another thing that certain Cancer people can really start to make huge strides with. And if that's rethinking working for someone else, well, that's the Mercury retrograde working to your advantage. So it really isn't one-dimensional to just all be about glitches. Those glitches can happen, and all we can do is work very hard to be as precise as possible to reduce the potential for them to happen. But glitches often happen around things like technology, booking systems, banking infrastructures, anything to do with travel and transport are often snared by Mercury retrograde. But we can focus on what we can influence in as an efficient way as possible. And then, of course, there is that glorious link between Venus in the fantastic 5th house for you, very warm-hearted, forging a beautiful link to deep Pluto as the week draws to a close. So if there are people that understand the inner you, understand what you're trying to achieve to improve your world in terms of bolstering your sense of security, a more protective and nurturing part of your life. If there are people around you or one person around you who really gets that journey, then your connection to those people or that person can get really, really close as this week draws to a close.